No, you print it out. Did you use reference? Did you?
Not too many people tell me that
Good.
had somebody.
Right. Right, for those of you that are here, we're gonna talk about that. For those of you that are not, right, talk about, you know.
You did?
All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys being here.
5 years.
Start off.
A good example.
Tuesday.
Good, I'm excited to see it. It's a good one. Otherwise, I can.
Pretty, oh yeah, you have on here, go here. Yeah. They can hear us now. Yeah. All right, it is Gratitude Tuesday. Let's be grateful.
I'll let you all sit here awkwardly. There we go. Okay. I've got to do. But anyway, it's 6 months old, and it's kind of like a wiener basket on the look at it. Okay. Anyone else who's been grateful for? One more. Okay, there we go. Each other. Environment, whether it's by
Full day.
Saturday and Sunday. Weekend might be covered 100%.
What did you get out of? I mean, I followed that. Awesome. Sure. All right. Ron's over there. We got another one there.
Yeah, so I'm grateful for just from here, super, welcoming and able to answer all my questions and help to and understanding. So very grateful.
Thank you for sharing. Here's the.
Hard places, marketing director. We for your business. These guys.
Tuesday, getting to our guest today, our partner, great one title. I have you, Kayla, Jonathan, on up. I think we're gonna play a game today, aren't we?
Again, everyone, good to hear. So let's go with title. Saying that, I didn't have to that. But we can, I want to play a little true and false, little game. Hello. Great, what's true and what's false? One more. All right, true or false? You can sell your property in the middle of your house. Just shout it out. True.
I want to close it.
False. And then as long as are in agreement, attorney, can sell it as.
I couldn't sell it until the divorce was final, but it's
Little tricky there. Great North Title can close any transaction, whether the property is located in Minnesota or Wisconsin. True or false? True. True. We are licensed in both Minnesota and Wisconsin. Question. If your sellers are vacationing in Italy on the date of the purchase agreement, you must postpone your closing until they return to the US. True or false? I think anyone. We are certified in electronic notaries, so we use a product called Ron, and it's a remote online notary. Yes. And so essentially, your closer is on the other end of a video, but it's an actual platform, and they're the ones on the video closing the transaction here. So a lot of other companies use notaries for this, but they're just Minnesota notaries. They're not your actual closer on the other end. They are not licensing as a question, so it's kind of nice that Great North Sale has invested in this platform, so your closers are still giving you that last touch point for you guys. All right, true or false? You must renew your owner's title insurance policy annually. True or false? Well, you have the option to purchase an owner's policy at closing. If you like to purchase an owner's policy, this one-time purchase will stay with your property for the entire time. Multiple choice, what service do we provide at Great North Title? A, notary, B, O&E title report, C, title insurance, or D, all of the above? D. Must have been doing some title homework. Next, it is my responsibility to confirm that my primary residence is in homestead status each year. True or false?
If it's true, then I'm in trouble.
In March of each year, you will receive the property tax statement. If your classification is equal to non-homestead, all the county protection. If this is your primary residence, obviously, figure, so, or there's other, one of the things you quick claim need, you can file, you want to make sure that in March over here, like, that is. Which way should you hold title on your property if you're entitled with another individual and you would like to avoid probate in the future? A, tenants in common, B, joint tenant, C, sole ownership, or D, none of the above?
A or B.
B, or D, B? B. B. Wait a minute. Good job, guys. Then we have one more. Yeah, so it's gonna all be on my Jeopardy team. I will need. But, also, if you guys took a second, if you guys want to take your phones out and scan this is our new quote tool. So we're always looking at ways to invest back into you guys. And this is kind of a free tool for you guys to use. It is, if you, everybody, we can go back to those at the end to scan. And then we can, if you just give us your email, or we can just plug you right in, or to scan that. We can give you this tool, but if you want to go one more, Sean, another one, yeah. So you can create seller net sheets and you can do buyer and seller quotes. And what's nice about this is that you know you guys use like the KW has a platform for that, but it transforms to a PDF and you can print it and it's really easy for your clients to view exactly what the title quote is and exactly each price of each individual thing that's on that quote. And then it's nice to just to be able to compare offers and clients have really been liking it just because it's very it's transparent and kind of in the era of transparent changes. So this is a really great tool for you guys that we've invested in. So you can scan that small one on the bottom or if you go back again, there's that big one. Otherwise, contact me at the end and I'm happy to help you guys get that.
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Great North. We appreciate Taco Tuesday. Okay. All right, 7-level deep dive is coming back to the Market Center. We are starting October 10th. Say that on there? October 10th, Thursdays. This was one of the most requested classes that we bring back again. If you have not done this, we had about 30 people in the room last time that we began this, and this was definitely one of the most positive that we had in the Market Center. If you don't know what a 7-level deep dive is, it's Michael Mayer's program that helps you connect better with your friends, family, and audience that you're already in a relationship with, and allows you to have a very clear system on what it means to engage them. And starting with like the Great Retrace, which we could talk more about. This is a model-based program, and if you're wondering what next year looks like, how to step into it, this is a really good start for you guys. So that'll be starting October 10th and running through the 27th, so we finish right before Thanksgiving. Business plan clinic. We have business plan clinic coming up in Maple Grove with Rebecca. So Pozo, she is a good, really good.
That's Cedars.
Oh, did I say it was in Maple Grove? Sorry, we moved it. Cedars Hall, so it's closer even. And $99 scan it to sign up. How many of you just by show of hands have a business plan or have worked on a business plan for yourself before? Okay, how many of you have one that you are moving into 2025 with right now? couple of you probably already do, right? And you got an idea of what that'll look like. For those of you that don't, this is an opportunity for you to put your activities where they're going to be the most valuable, to focus on where you want to grow your business and what you're going to grow on, to identify your business pillars. So check this out, you guys. We also have another one coming up. At the end of October, you guys, we have Build a Big Team, and that is with Shane and Jason, Shane Montoya and Jason Koenig. This is going to be a really good opportunity if this is something that you want to look forward to as you grow your business. I go back to this with what Gary Keller said when he was answering the phones in Austin. He started with an idea that they were going to be KW or Keller Williams International. So he answered it that way. And he had how many offices at the time, Todd? How many offices did he have when he started answering the phone, Keller Williams International?
Maybe 10.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Austin. Honestly, he tells the story of one at one point, right? So my point in that is that to start to think about what you might want, show up and participate in something like this so you can at least open your mind to the opportunity and see if it's something that you want to build. They've built a great big team and continues to see success and growth even in markets that some of us have struggled with. So check us out for the big team event with Jason Hitchin on couple. Eve Lytle. Read this. It's our third hero. Does anybody else know who the two others are here with them? Great, right? So what does that really mean? To be honest and to think about the association, oftentimes we miss the fact that there aren't 7,200 agents that are participating at this bar. They're not. There's about 400 out of that 7,000 that are consistent that keep the thing moving. And one, Steve is involved in that, and two, Steve is continuing to move his mission upon giving back. We have that event on Sunday, correct? Sunday of this week, you will be walking in slowly, but you're doing it in New York City or Tunnel Towers, right? So you guys are preventing the business with people like Steve, like DJ, like Grant, who find a way to include a philanthropic give back, a community involvement part of what they do, and that's honestly what makes it different. So Steve, thanks for being a leader in that. All right, marketing services. In front of you, you have the paper right now. Looks pretty incredible.
Thank you, Nick. Just want to take like 2 seconds here. Just remind you guys about my 36 touch plan as well as my social media package. As we are getting into the quieter months, as things are ramping down, now is the perfect time to start thinking about a 36 touch plan and social media. We still want to stay on top of our clients. I'm here, I'm happy to help out. If you want samples and things like that, I can certainly send you if you want to take a look at that before doing anything, before moving forward. Another question I get is it just going to be generic content where it's the same across everybody's? No, it's specifically timed to you, to your interest, what you want to look for, colors, things, et cetera, et cetera. It's not generic, it'll be specifically to you. So like I said, as business is winding down, now is a great time to start thinking about those things. Please reach out. I'm here and happy to help. Thank you.
All right, Don, hold on. I'm gonna push you a little bit. I'm gonna have this conversation. So as I'm looking at this and we're looking at the cost, Sean and I have sat on a couple of demos most recently about what some of the outside companies are offering. Oftentimes it's significantly more expensive. Not oftentimes, it is significantly more expensive. So when we took a look at what we were going to charge for this, we wanted to give you guys leverage. Where else have we heard leverage before? And we start with leads, listing leverage, right? A lot of the agents that I'm meeting right now aren't taking leverage. You know, we have people that are having conversations about hiring or having to let go staff and different things. This is $150 a month. That gives you 12 curated posts every single month. That's worth leverage for you guys. 3 posts per week. How many of you are posting 3 posts per week right now? Okay, we have a couple of people here that are social media specific, right? You're really moving it. For the rest of you, this is an opportunity for you to leverage out something that you're currently not doing well or you're currently not focused on. And for $150 a month, you guys, I don't you know, again, if you've lost track of time, you don't know what to post, Sean is already doing this work for you, so you guys reach out to him, and then obviously, this goes into your business plan and your 36 touch. We know that, you know, week over week or month over month and year over year, that all of our agents keep saying things like, I want to get into my database, I want to add it, I want to start doing it. You guys, this is the number one way for you to be in two places at once. I say that, but maybe you don't hear it. If you want to double your efforts and work 16 hours a day, great, don't use Command or don't use a CRM. But if you want to be purposeful in this, this is the way to do it. And again, you have leverage. How many of you are intimidated by the idea of implementing a smart plan by yourself? I know I am. I know I have been. How many of you don't even know what I'm talking about? Right? Sorry. And if you don't, this is one that you should ask. Okay, I'm dead serious. This is going to change next year for you. And it's as simple as what, Sean? How much is it?
$150 a month.
$150 a month for you to guarantee yourself that your database is being interacted with. That's it. So thank you so much for that. You guys, can I get somebody who's meeting up with Sean right now? That has it? All right, we got one, and there we go. I am already. Honestly, I appreciate that, Steve and Danny too. If you wanted to talk to him about what he's doing too. Perfect. Thank you for that. John, thanks, my friend. All right, guys. Yeah, we have the best in the business that we get to work with on a day-to-day basis. They're some of the most consistent and purposeful in our market center. And you see them here. Travis and I often fight for who's going to be here first. Lately, I've been winning. Today, he did win, however. And so we'd like to invite you guys up to have this conversation. Okay. The other. You're right.
Get ahead of yourself.
I figure it's 6:30. I'm gonna hand this to you guys, and I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit out loud, but sorry about you. Again, you guys were kind of on the front edge of this. You started doing some things really, really quickly and very, very purposely when you went for the fully fee agent, and you started to kind of take a peek into the future as to what this was going to look like. And so, honestly, you guys, just give us a synopsis. I'm going to hand the microphone to Karen as well. Just give us the synopsis about that a little bit, and then I got a couple of follow-up questions.
Well, the first thing I'd say is it's still a work in progress, right? Because this is a lot of stuff. But we workshopped it probably for 3 or 4 weeks straight at our team meetings, trying to digest all the changes and first off, understand everything contractually. And then actually really start to dive into like how we would talk about it with our clients and how we can explain it. It's such a complicated topic to try to make it bite-sized and approachable. I think that was our initial focus.
You guys on the screen, you can kind of see it back there, but on the screen, you were one of the first teams to just put together kind of a map of what it would look like. And are you guys still using this? I mean, is this still fulfilled on a monthly or on a meeting to meeting basis? Is this still filling that void for you guys?
You know, I think we spent enough time talking about it that we understand the contracts very well at this point. So when we built that graphic, it was like, how do we simplify the decision tree so that we know what we're doing? Because it was all new information for us. And I think for the most part, I feel pretty dang confident that we can go into any of those scenarios now and speak intelligently about it. And when Sean said we workshopped that, I mean, that was like 2-hour debated, heated conversations because there was varying opinions based on the information we were receiving. And then there was changes in the information that we had received within that 3 to 4 week period. So we spent a lot of time and between the people in that room, there was probably 60 to 70 years of experience in real estate. And we were having a hard time understanding it. And that was kind of like that aha moment where we're like, why is this so hard for us? We're relatively smart. I know these two are way smarter than me, but like, why is this confusing? So that's why we created something was like, how do we simplify the process so we're able to one, internalize it ourselves, and two, convey that to our clients.
Best practices and process. I mean, anything that you guys have changed since the implementation of this, that you can articulate, or, for you guys, how's it going in your conversation, both with the buyers, the sellers, and are you getting calls from co-op agents? Has that number significantly, increased?
Yeah, every single time. Now, if there's gonna be somebody that's interested, they're gonna call and ask if there's a buyer broker compensation, and if so, is it coming from the listing agent, or is it coming from the seller directly, or is there one at all? So, and we're doing that on the buy sides too. You have to know what's gonna happen. And we're seeing all across the board, as people are starting to try to figure out how they're gonna best model it for their own businesses. It's across the board, and you just have to know how to navigate all of them.
So let's double click on that. With it being across the board, this kind of goes into my next question is, how are you guys handling all of that? Like, how are you taking that in? Because now there's a multitude of differences. Has that changed your day-to-day? Has that changed your conversation? Have you implemented any models or systems that you're like, okay, this is how we do it now? For instance, sharing your commission right now, what you're willing to pay out. What are you guys doing for that?
So at listing appointments, basically I just let my sellers know, which I kind of have always done, but not in the capacity that I'm doing now, which is just explaining to them, these are your options. You've got the choice to not offer any compensation to the buyer's broker. And here's the pros to that. Here's the potential cons to that. You guys get to choose. Another way we can do it is you can pay me X amount for a commission, and I will take some of that and split that with the buyer's broker. There's another option, or we can go with concessions, and we talk about the pros and cons of each of those, and then the seller gets to choose what they're most comfortable with.
Yeah. So anecdotally, Karen, I mean, for all of you, what has your experience been with those conversations? What is the feedback you're getting from the sellers?
They just roll with whatever, if you present something with confidence, then it's gonna be received with confidence. And usually they'll come back and say, I trust whatever you suggest. And I'll throw it back on them again and say, well, again, here's your three options. And we'll go through that. I make sure they're the ones that make that choice.
And you're coming to that conclusion together.
At the end of the day, they just want to hit their goal. They want to get their house sold. They want to move. They want, some clients really want to know how the sausage is made, and some don't, right? Some just want to, so I always try to start with telling them what they need to hear, but not overwhelming them. So I just keep it to the two things. Sometimes people have heard about the lawsuit, and sometimes they haven't. And if they haven't, then it's an even shorter conversation. But I just say, you do need to know that there's been a couple big changes in the real estate industry. And the two are that we can't offer a buyer broker compensation on the MLS anymore. Commissions from the listing and the buyer have been decoupled, is how I describe it. And then we can't show you any houses unless we have you under contract. Even if it's for one specific house, we have to have something in writing or we could lose our license. They're like, oh, okay, that doesn't seem like it affects me. Now let's talk about selling the house again. So we kind of go into that. And just like Karen said, here are the options, here are the pros and cons for all the options. And it might make more sense to do one of those options based on what kind of house it is. If it's a first-time buyer and they're obviously gonna need some kind of, commission to help or concession to help them pay their buyer's broker, that's a conversation to have. And at least as long as the seller is being prepped that, even if you don't offer one, you're gonna probably be asked for one. Just know that. That's how this is gonna look now that the commissions have been decoupled on the MLS. And then it seems to make sense to them, and then they're like, oh, okay. And I'll say, we're still gonna negotiate from your net, just like we always have. Regardless of what you might be paying in a concession or not, we're gonna be looking at the offer in total, price and terms, so that it makes sense for you. Does that make sense? And they're like, yeah.
To give you this, the reason that I think that is so awesome and why you guys should be employing that, right, is some of what I've heard chatter on different sites right now from sellers is that they're going in with the expectation because their agent said that they're going to pay 3, right? And then they end up not knowing that they're gonna end up paying 2.7 or 3 anyways, right? That the negotiate, so the number they're starting from is a wrong number, so now you're battling out the entire process. Go ahead, Ty.
So since we're at this part of the conversation, what are you seeing? How is it communicated for number one? Where it would qualify that the listing brokerage is gonna pay the buyer's brokerage? I got another question after that. What are the various ways you're seeing that communicated that it would fall under that?
From the listing side, like if there's gonna be
From a buyer's agent side or a listing side, which ways are you seeing that communicated that it would fall under that? Because there have been some instances where it's been doubled up and the selling company is paying two commission to the buyer's agent.
right, if there's already commission there, you can't write anything into line 405, or at least at the listing agent, you better catch that.
Correct. So which way is it being communicated that it would absolutely fall into that first category? And is that widely known at this point, in your opinion?
I don't know if I'm understanding the question. Go ahead.
So the purchase agreements I've seen since that's changed, I've got two errors where that's been, I've seen a double commission in there and I've seen one where it hasn't been written in there. What we're looking for, from an administrative side right away is a cooperating broker agreement. Like I want that in the paperwork because that's gonna dictate how that thing works. And then I'm able to set the stage for the title company. I have had title company ask what our, for our buyer paperwork too, like, and a lender asked for that too. But I think it really starts on the onset when you're going to show a property that you're wanting to get that information as soon as possible. So we had an agent that was writing one up last week, and he had email communication, he had verbal communication from the agent, but we didn't have that cooperative broker agreement. And I'm like, okay, I feel pretty good about this, but we should really get that. And so he prepped until he got that. Oddly enough, the agent sent us their listing paperwork initially, which was weird. Well, thank you. I understand how you're compensated and how this works, but here's the form we need. So I think that on the front end, wanting to get that stuff as soon as possible is what best practices are. And I actually, with one of the title companies we work with, I sat down with them and went through how that process works, and I changed how our coverage sheet works to show where commission dollars are coming from.
Which would lead to that agreement, the cooperating broker agreement, right? So
Right,
if
that's
you got that agreement in place, then there's no need to add it to the purchase agreement.
Correct.
If you don't have that, then add it to the purchase agreement.
Correct.
So let's go with Edina Realty. They're putting on their listings under the buyer agent remarks, that are the agent remarks to the buyer's agent, what the property address is along with a website that can be copied and pasted into the browser, and then they're communicating what the commission is. So in that situation, would somebody go after that cooperating agreement right away, or would you just write it into the purchase agreement?
I guess I would look for that resource. So Sean had a brilliant idea when this was first coming down. We registered a domain called ourpayouts.com. I don't know if Sean, if you can pull that up quick, but what we do when a property goes coming soon or active is we proactively have Lynn sign all those cooperative broker agreements. So we can list them on there, that I've got it set up in a Google Drive where someone can click on it and open it up. That's gonna save some time down the road. And it's gonna take a little bit of time, I think, for other brokerages or other agents to kind of figure out how to do some of this stuff. But Sean was like, how do we eliminate some of the, busyness of all of this? And it's just being a little bit more proactive, I think.
Okay, so my last question is, the bottom example, no. Has anybody experienced a situation where the seller said, absolutely not, we're not paying any commission at all?
Yes,
And how did you resolve that?
use my own seller twice.
And how did that, so did the property sell and did the seller not pay out a commission?
The first time around, the property did sell. They incorporated that on top of the list price.
So the list price was 300 and we turned it into a 306. And it did appraise, which was good. The second one, we haven't listed yet. So, without.
Has anybody had to go back to their buyer and say, they're not paying a commission, you need to pay me based on our?
Not yet. It'll happen though. But if you're rolling it on top, it's really the same as they're still paying it, right? It's the exact same thing as it was before. It's just a different word. It's concessions instead of.
They've always paid it anyway, right? The reality.
So what do you do if the, let's say the seller is not compensating buyers? Then what if the buyer said, hey, that's the case, if I have to pay you, then I'm gonna go, find a different house. How do you react? I mean, obviously it depends on the buyer really selecting that particular house and liking it and having to compromise the fact that they have to pay me, but how do you handle that?
That gets resolved right away at the buyer consult. So when I initially have a consult with my buyers, we have a very detailed conversation at that point, before we even sign a contract, in terms of how the commission could work. And so we're creating different scenarios. I make sure that the buyers either are going to be financially prepared to compensate me. I'm very clear in terms of what I charge for my service. And if that's something that they're not financially prepared for, then we agree that before I show properties, when I schedule the showing, I'm going to check with the listing agent. If the listing agent says up front, we're not paying out, I'm going to let my buyer know that. My buyer gets to choose then if they want to look at that property with me or not.
Have you had a situation where the buyer was not financially able to pay and then the lender allowed them to borrow the commission to the buyer agent?
I've had a situation where the buyers were not able to pay. And we never found a situation where the sellers weren't willing to compensate. So I've yet to run into that. yet.
That's in the cards, or do you know that? Like that's in the, like, so if the buyer's like, I can't pay. Or maybe a lender can answer, like, have they come up with, like, they have that option potentially?
Yeah, on the listing that I had, a couple months ago, because my seller wasn't willing to do a payout, the only other option was then for the buyer to say, okay, if you're listing it at 300, I'm gonna offer you 306. And my loan is gonna be based on that 306, meaning that they're gonna finance the closing costs. So the
And not
seller's paying for them, but it's involved in the loan amount, yeah.
So
If it appraised at 300 and not 306, the lender would not have covered the payout.
Yeah, we had to hope that it appraised to that.
So was only 6,000 paid out, or did they negotiate lower? It only tell me if it's closed.
Yeah, it did close and it was a total of $6,000. That was the total payout to the buyer broker.
I want to touch back on this, because we have a couple of people or teams that have done this right away. And this is an important part of streamlining the conversation. The way that, how many of you are familiar with the way that Lynn is doing it as well? Very similar to this. She has QR codes on the sign writer. She has QR codes in the house, unlike those, something similar to this that says scan here for what I'm paying out, and then it has a list like this that goes directly. So again, much like this, creating some ease of use for the agent, the buyer's agent, by helping you out, and getting them to know right away, right? So that there isn't that negotiation. Lisa?
Do you have this website on the MLS? No,
This is,
because that would be illegal, right?
Correct.
this is on our website with a domain pointing right to it.
So is there anything on your website on the MLS?
No.
So how do you communicate, go to the MLS to people?
Well, theoretically, any agent that's showing the property is gonna call.
A good agent.
Yeah, and it's really designed for if because we've got a team, sometimes we'll get calls and we'll get calls on each other's listings. And we might not know what it is. So we can either just use the website ourselves to go and take a look at it and then just tell them. Or we can just say in a pinch, we could just say, hey, all of our stuff is posted at ourpayouts.com if you want to just take a quick look.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is, as soon as somebody sets up a showing, I'm sending an email with a copy of the buyer broker thing, which is efficient, inefficient, because you're touching it every single time. I'm wondering, maybe we should have like an automated, well, I mean, that's all a template, but like an automated email to a website link. I don't know if that's more efficient, I guess.
Just looking to see if Marty was on. I think we're gonna see more of this for the time being. The question is, how do you automate it, right? How do you get it in front of people? I think, like you said, the way you're doing it's great, but you have to do it on every one, and that can be time consuming when it's just you, right? So finding ways to be able to state, to share this information, ahead of time is probably gonna be key.
But they're having to do it too, because if people call them. Having to respond.
I think ideally is if you could set up an automation in your email that when a showing request, like if you could set up an automation that says, when this comes in, send that.
Oh, so when the email address comes in, then it would pop back.
Yeah, I haven't played with that yet. but that
Okay,
could
that's
be
what
a-
we need to do.
But then you could have a specific domain that would just respond with that domain with all your links.
Yep, and it could either be all of this, or it could be go to this website, either one.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're not having to touch it as much.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Perfect. Hey, you're so good. Why we all want to track, we are having.
Any other questions for them?
Have you done buyer concession versus buyer broker? Or seller broker to buyer broker? Like, have you done it where you put it in the MLS, like concession of X% to be paid to the buyer?
Not yet.
I'm doing that right now.
Has anybody seen a listing that has stated that the seller is willing to offer X in a concession?
I have.
I have not seen them.
We've seen a lot of them that say, seller is willing to offer concession for the right offer.
I've gone through a lot.
So that's basically like, yeah, we're paying out. It's the way of saying we're paying out in the MLS.
By the way, as part of another script, you could let them know that all of the builders, I haven't found one yet that's not willing to pay out compensation. That they're professional sellers, they are paying out because they understand how it works. And I think that's a good script for a seller if they decide to give you pushback. That 90% are going to go with a payout. So people, the builders are doing it and they're professional sellers.
Another thing that we did, I think Travis came up with this too, is if we've got, if we're doing something where the listing broker is paying the buyer broker commission, we get that call, we've already got the sheets all signed, the buyer broker compensation agreement. So if we get a call, we had a call on one and it's like, what are you paying out? And we said, it happened to be 2.7. And I said, well, and we'll send this to you. And so we emailed it right at the same time. So it makes a good impression on the buyer's agents. They're like, they've got their stuff together. Makes them comfortable about, bringing in an offer. So I think doing that kind of helps our sellers as well.
Sorry, I was just reading my last question, so, anybody else? You guys are, again, appreciate the leadership, of coming into this. You guys were thoughtful from the very beginning, and we've taken your lead right here from the start. You started having this conversation. You guys put this together. We appreciate you guys. Thank you before we go. You guys. All right. All right, so we have a few things that I'd love to talk about. First of all, I said I was done with gold, but I'm really not done with gold. We've learned some more about gold this past, today, and we learned that the first step for gold is always going to exist as a standalone class. You don't have to pay from the first step, it's free. If you are not currently signed up for gold, you can reach out to me, or you reach out to Emmy, and you can get signed up for the first step. They are suggesting that this is a new gold. Not suggesting, they are committed to this being a new gold. Yesterday in the leadership call, we went over the 30 I'm not quite there yet. What did they call it yesterday? 30,
The bold, quotes.
the new bold quotes, the new bold rules, bold laws. Dude, look at you, new bold truths. Every day, I'm reading that, Emmy's gonna be doing this job. The truths, you guys. So this is it. I've done bold before, great, fantastic. If you're gonna do bold this time, bold step, I think it's gonna be incredible. If you are at a place where you haven't signed up for bold, you guys, and you wanna see a little bit what this is and get a little taste of it, on the 9th, October 9th, we will be starting, we're right at the banquet, so let us know, we'd love to get you in the room. You guys, if you haven't done anything else, if you haven't gone to mega camp, if you haven't gone to family reunions, come to the first step for bold, it'll be, it's gonna create some FOMO because you know you can't continue on. But I will tell you this, I know that there's a few spots that are likely to open up, and if you're there that day, there's a chance you could snag that deal. I can't make any promises, I'll see you, and again. But I just, you guys, this is an opportunity for you guys to show up in a place where I think there's some really incredible, community building. So October 9th, we'll get you the information. Lastly, I'm around. How many of you have, in your real estate career or in your life, bought something that said it would make it easier for you? A weight loss system, a workout system, and you've spent thousands of dollars. Can we raise our hands? There's no shame here, right? Okay. And then there are things that you can buy that are really good, that really do help and improve your life. This is a thing that will help you to improve your life, and it is wildly undervalued. This book for right now, $25 on my little store. And we have a couple in the market center that you guys can use, page through. But I'll be very honest, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Playbook Volume 2, Volume 1, those themselves are the reason why KW is different, because we're sharing this information. You guys, it's really difficult sometimes to do everything that we do, but then also to have the energy, the resources, to then plan and build the other things in your business that you know you need to do. There's a map on these by teams that have done it at a really high level. Todd, what did we say this morning, that when they took a look at this book, when they took a look, they interviewed 800 VW teams or individual producers, and they narrowed it down to how many? 84. You guys, if this book was somewhere else, I have it in good measure, a similar program, this program specific in our business is being offered by a different brand at $1,500. This has every single pillar that you could choose in your business to focus on. You don't have to recreate the wheel. You just have to implement what somebody else did at a high level and was successful. That takes a lot of that onus off of you trying to design, define, and build it. If you guys haven't seen this already, take an opportunity to page through it. You can come in my office. I'll make sure that Emmy has one as well. My suggestion is to buy it, and you buy it every year. For $25, you're going to have 84 implementable business ideas that is coming to you from the entire level of production at KW. The top 10% of the top 10% is putting this together. So this isn't me trying to get you to buy something because it's only $25. It's me trying to say, if you're looking for Saturday afternoon, you're sitting in an open house and there isn't anybody in there, let's get more people to an open house by showing you how to do that, right? You know how to throw an event that's geared towards you and your people, right? You know how to put together something where you're going to get a community organization or philanthropic involvement. You guys stop trying to recreate it and start implementing, and especially right now. How many of you, this is just to get a temperature of the room, how many of you believe that 2025 is better than 2024? I think that both from a standpoint of hope, we absolutely need that hope that it's there, but also that it's time. It starts to feel this way, right? The conversations are changing, not only in here, but outside. What is it that you're going to do different in 25 that you didn't do in 24? There's something in this book that can help every single person in here do something different in your business to elicit a better outcome. So I'm gonna do this. First person to raise their hand gets this one. Well, you are, yes, so I appreciate it. A little bit question. Yeah, I had part of our employee here. So, sorry, you just had no chance. No, you guys. Poor people. That's you guys for that. I implore you, if you haven't, start to think about leverage. I met with one of our agents yesterday, and she was struggling in a couple of different points in her business. And she said she was busy and she was frustrated but what do you think her frustration was related to? Admin? No, you're right. Say it out loud. Say it louder. Read it. Admin. Guys, she's busy. She's moving. She's doing the activities. She's getting the meetings. But guess what? She's trying to do all of it herself. She's trying to be her own admin. She's trying to be her own TC. She's trying to throw events. And I said, when will you understand that you can't do what you're doing and make that a long-term successful business strategy? You got to leverage yourself. You're not currently using Shannon for your TC work and you're overwhelmed. The $400 that costs you, right? Is it even $400? Just the technicality, no. But at $400, how much time do you get back? Right? How many of you are social media geniuses? If I'm looking, I have one that I would look to for her social media because I like her engagement. The rest of you aren't that much. The rest of you, no, that would be great if I insulted all of you. But my point is if it's not something you're passionate about, it's something that you find yourself thinking about your engagement, take that off of your list for $150 a month and have Sean do the work for you. Don't get overwhelmed on the stupid stuff. What should we be focusing on? Lead gen, but where we want to lead gen. I used to love social media. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't find it fun, entertaining, interesting, memorable. So it's simpler for me, right, to have Sean do that because it's still engagement. I'm still checking the box. I'm not having to create the brain damage that often exists when I'm like, what am I going to post today? Oh, I'm going to post that. What did Danny post? I can't post it. That's not going to look the same, right? As we start to look towards other people, and then we're just not being authentic to us. So, guys, maybe some time is an opportunity to schedule it. Go ahead, Caitlin.
We also are taking time to educate you guys. So next week after the meeting, we're doing a Title 101. So this is for new agents and seasoned agents. Everybody can learn something, and we just want to pour back into you guys. And we're here to answer any other questions that you have.
Thank you so much. That is another opportunity for you guys to learn something, to go back and give perspective to your clients as well. This is a good opportunity. If you don't know anything about title, it's a really good opportunity for you to learn in an easy setting, and it's a great class, guys. And you should check that out. Otherwise, go out and help somebody, you guys. We have tacos in the there are so many tacos. You guys have to start from now on sometimes. So get to work, y'all.
Flying at you last night. Yeah. You take our picture.
In front of the KW. Hi, I'm Nick. Very nice. I dropped off a sign.
Oh, I was studying. Like, guy running up behind me, my daughter was like, I live here.